Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. My father was a soldier, and he didn't tell me any stories about the conflicts, but he did tell me lots of stories about the weekends that they got free passes into London. This was about 1944. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that in 1944, the only place that there was naked girls in the whole of the London area, this will interest you, was in the Windmill Theatre in Great Windmill Street. And you could walk there from here if you want to. It's still the same. It's still a lap dancing joint, I believe. But it seems that the girls would come on, and by law, they could come on, nothing on, but they couldn't move a muscle. So they would come on smiling, and they would have to keep the smile and not move a muscle for 10 minutes. So, can you imagine the auditorium full of soldiers in London for the weekend, all bevied up, as we say in this part of the world, full of Carlsberg for you Danish guys. And the girls would come on, they would stand there, not move a muscle for 10 minutes, and then the curtain would come down, and then a stand-up comedian would come up and tell jokes for about 5 or 6 minutes. For those British people here, all those stand-up comedians, we actually grew up with them. They were on TV when I was a kid. So my father told me that within 2 or 3 minutes, the guys got fed up with the stand-up comedians, and they would fire fish and chip containers, they'd fire beer bottles until they got the girls back on again. Well, that's how I feel after coming on after these two guys. So I hope that you don't chuck any San Pellegrino bottles at me in the next few minutes. Folks, I've been trading a long time, not nearly as long as Larry, but I put up my first trade in October 1982. It was a winning trade. It was in South Africa. I was living in South Africa at the time. I went to South Africa to play professional rugby. Everybody says you're not big enough, but it's not the size of it. It's how angry it gets, folks. So I played rugby at the highest level. I'm nearly at international level. Didn't quite make it. But South African Breweries Trade was a winner. I worked I worked at De Beers. I have a degree in engineering, an MSc in metallurgy, a PhD in mathematics, all of which is largely useless in taking money out of markets regularly, I may add. I worked a while at De Beers in South Africa, and I cut the corporate umbilical cord in October 1988, and I've been trading on my own ever since. The move, for those of you that are thinking about it, from being salaried to being taking your wage from the stock market, stroke futures market, stroke forex market is quite a move. And I underestimated how difficult that move would be in October 1988. And it took me 3 or 4 months or 6 or 7 months to actually get the wind behind me. So don't underestimate that move, folks. It's quite a big move. When I think in Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, if you haven't read it, you should read it. He tries to buy his wife a fur coat, and after 2 or 3 chapters, he says to himself, well, if you need a coat that badly, the stock market won't give it to you. So, but I've been trading on my own ever since. I was lucky enough to work with Tom for many years. And certainly Larry has taught me a tremendous amount along the way as well. I have Larry's very, very first books. He sold 2 copies of his first book. I bought one, his mother bought the other one. So he's nodding his head as well. When I started to do a seminar in the stock market. My first seminar was done by pure accident, because I was in a little town outside Johannesburg called Rustenburg. If you ever owned a platinum share, that's where they come from, Rustenburg. And it was at Rustenburg Golf Club. It was in the late 1980s, around Wimbledon time. And the speaker was the mine manager of Rustenburg Platinum, which is the biggest platinum mine in the world. It's now a part of Anglo American, listed here in London. And he got laryngitis, he couldn't speak. So they asked me to come up and talk to the audience. And I hadn't a clue what I was going to say, but I just showed everybody what I do myself. And that's largely what I'm going to show everybody on on Sunday afternoon, what I do myself. In the audience, there was a chap who was a desk head at a bank called Investec, a South African bank. And he asked me to actually come in and train his traders how to become consistent, because they were making a heap of money and then giving it all back again, to get them off that roller coaster ride that so many of us have. That went well, and I did my first big technical analysis seminar to a crowd in an auditorium like this at the University of Stellenbosch, just outside Cape Town, and that was in 1989. So where is Andrew? Andrew, yes, about just close to where we first met. It's in Belleville, as you well know, University of Stellenbosch. And some of the notes and some of the charts that I'll be showing you on Sunday, the schematics, in fact, came out of that 1989 seminar. So I've been around the block for a long time. I've got the trades that I've got going at the moment. Maybe, Tom, can you pull them up, Tom?
Yes.
Gold.
Not Bitcoin.
Gold on a 4-hour chart. And folks, I take a more leisurely path in my dotage than these two gentlemen. The tail should never wag the dog. Just remember what this is all about. It's all about lifestyle, in my humble opinion. And I have no real interest in cars. I've done that. I have no real interest in flashy houses, because I've done that as well. And when you've got one of them, they're a bloody liability. But I love horses. So I have a weakness for horses. I have a horse on both continents. I've got one in South Africa, and I've got one here.
4 hours?
4-hour chart, yeah. This week, I've been short of it twice.
There. Sorry, Dave.
Thanks.
I got a laser point of that thing there.
Oh, God, and you can't.
I know.
So we've come on at that, haven't we?
Laser points are so bigger.
I've been short of it twice this week, and the work that I'm going to present on Sunday is my cut on something that's 100 and 120 years old, made famous by a technician of yesteryear called Richard Wyckoff. Tom and I discussed this over the years. It's amazing how you start in this business with one methodology, and then you weave to dozens and dozens of other things, and you then come back to where you bloody well started. So I've been short of this week, if I can get my fat finger onto this thing without breaking it. I've been short of it from about here, and I rode it down to there, and I lost a little bit on as it pulled back on me. I got back into it again last night, and I've held it and still holding it. We shall see. As you can see, it in fact stopped at that low. And if you actually look at the volume in there, there was actually a bit of demand come into the market at that low. So looking at price and volume together is an edge, in my humble opinion. Price is the most important, but you can actually tell from price and volume relationships, and I assure you they're not rocket science, that whether somebody's playing with you or not, the big players can easily manipulate price, but they can't manipulate volume that easily. And so a volume feed is very useful. It's certainly not going to get you 100% trades, and many people will argue that an awful lot of the volume, even in the stock market, that's done today is only booked the day after that. And there's all this stuff about dark pools, but as a friend of mine says about his wife, it's better than nothing. Okay, so so this, please excuse this chauvinistic jokes. He's an ugly little fella about this size. I'm sure she says the same about him. Do I know where that's going to go next? No, but the longer-term daily chart, I don't know what Larry thinks, the longer-term daily chart in gold, I'm very bullish on gold. In fact, I have a long-term position on GLD, a tracker, but I still think that this needs to go back a little bit before it goes up. Because one of the tenets that Big Larry taught me here was that the best trades occur after the masses have been stopped out. Okay, and markets tend to move, and that's because the big fellas up there, they can't press the wee button and get in because there's just not enough liquidity there for them to get in size. So they have to, in fact, engineer 100,000 guys like you, sir, pull you one way, your stop loss gets hit. That, in fact, sets off a sea of liquidity for them to get in. So even if you don't have the strength, or what I refer to jokingly as the testicular fortitude to buy at the level, if you can get in and you can see, using your cup here, you can see that lots and lots of people have been stopped out before you get in, then you're probably on the right side of the trade. The good trade's always the hard trade, always. Not emotionally, not intellectually difficult. In fact, the thicker you are, the better probably, but emotionally difficult. And one of the things that my very first desk head taught me, he was a sergeant in the Black Watch, which is a Glaswegian British Army regiment, not known for taking prisoners. He used to always say that when it's time to buy, you won't want to. Okay? When it's time to buy, you won't want to. I drum this into the VectorVest customers every Monday afternoon. Now, I started to buy stocks at the lows a few days ago, just before they went up. You should have seen the mails I got, like I was a complete effing idiot. Okay? And March 2020, after the COVID thing, well, the COVID thing had just started here, and pretty much the day that Boris announced that we were going, I had to stay inside, that the market bottomed out that day. Again, I was buying stocks, bought my first stocks on March the 24th, 2020, and the mail that I got telling me I was a complete idiot was quite choice. I made a mistake once upon a time of putting my email address on a YouTube video. And since that, I get hundreds and thousands of emails telling me that I am a complete idiot. So Thomas, could we go to the S&P, please? Thomas?
I'm so sorry, you didn't see what I just did.
No, I didn't, no.
I created a group for everyone in here so I could dispel information really quick. And I just wrote, didn't I say he was good? Smiley face.
I didn't see it. I'm too doof to see it.
Yeah, good.
Doof is South African for thick. Okay. I want the S&P, please, okay. On a 1 hour chart. Okay. Now, I think Larry pointed out well, I'll use Wyckoff terminology and you'll get it all on Sunday, but there was an upthrust in the S&P, and also the S&P, and especially the SPY, which is the tracker. I find the volume figures on the SPY exceptionally leading, much more leading than the volume figures that I get from the New York Stock Exchange. But you'll note that the S&P has been rising, the SPY has been rising over the last few days on markedly falling volume, much less participation. So I was looking for a short up around, thank you, sir, up around 4600. And you can see the 4600. It actually took, if we were to go to a daily chart, you see that there's a huge, maybe you should go to the daily chart, Tom, yeah. Can you see, you don't have to be much of a genius to see that there was a line running through the chart up there. You can see, if I can, yeah, Tom, thanks, mate. You can see there's a low, there's a couple of highs. That missed that by a point, I think. And we got this line, so we're now rising here. Now, where are we in this? God, I'll put on my Elliott hat for a moment. But I think that's 1, that's 2, 1, 2, and this is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think we have another leg up here to take the highs out. We shall see. We shall see. But I was looking for a short somewhere up around there, especially as this thing was rising and falling volume. I'll show you the volume figures on Sunday. This was a marked divergence or non-validation in Wyckoff terminology, because we had a big, big bar on markedly lower volume, and that shouldn't happen. Okay, that's what Wyckoff called a non-validation. Those of you that have studied momentum divergences will know that the price rises and the momentum falls. That's not good. It's the same thinking, except that you're applying it to volume itself. So volume is very useful, and it can stop you getting mangled by those people that can manipulate the markets. I was looking for a short. So Tom, if we go back to the hourly, sir.
Would you like a bit more info, I guess?
Yeah, last night it wasn't easy. Today's was much better because we had a beautiful upthrust just here, and that fell very nicely. And I closed out the deal here at I don't know what that's for. Is it? 4.5. I closed at 4.516 because that was a 1.618 extension of the pullback. I closed it out a few minutes ago there. Now, last night, Wyckoff would have drawn in what he called a demand line, which in modern technical analysis is called a trend line, okay? And it actually broke the trend line between there, and then it went back and kissed it. And then we got this bar, which actually happened on big, big downside volume. And then all of a sudden it fell. So I was looking for an excuse to sell it up here, and that was the excuse. Not that good a trade. This was much, much better trade. But on the way up, we had some beauties. Lovely spring. Lovely spring. And if we go back a bit further, Tom. Yeah. Wee bit further, sir. This is just classic action here. That bar came down on virtually no volume, and then we had huge demand hit it here, and a very narrow range bar. Took a while to get going. Back here, Tom, we get the same thing. So these things, this is a textbook one which we'll talk about, and if you don't understand it, you'll understand it before you go home. So if you want a reasonably leisurely way to trade without a great deal of angst, then this will supply it for you. Mark Douglas, who I've never met, but I know Larry knew very well, and Tom knew him. Well, we will someday, yeah, and it's getting, unfortunately, closer. He said that you should start with a mechanical methodology. And when you've done your 30 or 40 trades, then you can, in fact, maybe move to something a little bit more discretionary. The spring system and the upthrust system and the Wyckoff system, just looking at price, is fairly mechanical. And I can string a rules to that. But when you add volume, it's not. Now, the volume stuff that I present on Sunday, I was hoofed out of a bank. Where's Andrew? Nedbank in South Africa. They hoofed me out because they said it wasn't analytical enough. Because I said to them, Larry, there's only 3 types of volume. Low, average, and high. And that wasn't good enough. So it wasn't. So they hoofed me out. And the same team of guys all got fired that year because they'd curve fitted. They were all from the physics department at the university. So they curve fitted the past, and they had a nice little equation for the past. And the one thing you know about curve fitting, folks, is that the better the fit to the past, though it's going to produce a bloody awful fit to the future, that's for sure. One last one. We go to oil, sir.
Yes, sir.
Crude. H4.
Yes, sir.
The tail should never wag the dog. You don't need many of these trades a month to give yourself a good month.
Sir.
What?
May or June?
No, it's just the cash one. Okay.
But you want crude?
Yeah, crude, yeah.
You're going to get this one. And what time frame?
I try a 4-hour chart to start with. Okay. Now, this wasn't... there was a nice trade up here because this went up and then it actually came off with a huge volume bar. But I didn't take that one. And I didn't take much here, but I couldn't resist this one. There's a head and shoulders reversal there, but I don't do that sort of stuff because the risk is a mile to make half a mile. Okay, it's great in the textbooks and whatever, but it's going to pull you in. It's then going to go back. If your stop's not the size of a number 27 bus away, you're going to get stopped out, and then it's got to go a hell of a long way for you to actually make any money. So a lot of that stuff works, in theory, but it doesn't actually make a lot of money. That's last night, just there. It's not a classic, but just up there, and I was short of that little fella as it broke down through that bar. Mr. Gann said so beautifully, the most important part of a chart is the lowest tick of the highest bar and the highest tick of the lowest bar. I'll never forget that. Gann wrote an awful lot of stuff, and some of the stuff is really, really, really difficult. His early stuff, his mechanical method is relatively simple. But his forecasting stuff is difficult. And to forecast with it, you have to, in fact, be able to square the charts. And the only guy who's ever said he can do that is that Australian fellow who curses a lot, Larry. What's his name? Bryce Gilmore. Is he still with us?
He's under poor health, but he's still around.
Okay. I met him once in Vegas, and he was playing roulette. My word.
Yeah, he's a wild man.
Yeah, he was... You were talking about poker earlier. Let me tell you guys how to make lots of money. Okay, here's what you do. You get yourself reasonably proficient at poker. This is my son does this in South Africa. He's a very, very shrewd guy. Too shrewd for his own bloody good. He is, in fact, communicating with me frequently now on WhatsApp. Now, that is a leading indicator of him wanting to borrow money. And you will find, those of you with a bit of gray hair will know that loans made to children are very rarely repaid. Here's what he does. Now, there's a 7-hour difference between South Africa and US Eastern Time, and much more out in Vegas time, wherever these places are. So he gets up on a Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, and he plays poker against drunk Americans. Says it's easy. Piece of cake to make some money. So... those are the trades I have now. I've got those 3 trades running. It took some money in the S&P. It's made 5 down, and I think it needs to go back. If you know nothing more about Elliott, then 3 up and 2 back is good, and 3 down and 2 up, that's great for a short. That's all you need to know. Trying to label charts from 1865 is a complete and utter waste of time. And even Bob Prechter says that his work is very academic. It's not that much use for being a trader. So I've got a position in the GDX, which is a long-term position, which probably is going to sweat. I hope it's going to sweat because I'm short gold. I've got a position in... a uranium stock called CCJ, and those are the only speculative positions. I've got a full portfolio in the London stock market, which at the moment I cut it down to 70% cash, 30% invested a few weeks ago as the market was falling, and I'm now back up to about 55 in the stock market, 35 in cash. I also run the VictorVest UK stock market trading tool, and I'll speak a little bit about that on Sunday afternoon as well. And because I know Tom so well, I'm more than happy to offer you a 60-day trial of that for a $5. And I would be delighted if everybody would take me up on that, okay? So I want to answer this young man's question about getting out too soon. Who was that young man who spoke honestly? That he said that he...
Not so young.
It was an Italian young man. Okay. I want you to humor me this evening. Okay? Who's having dinner with friends or family? Mistress? That must be an Italian. You guys have got a reputation for that. So, here's my challenge to you. That when you're having dinner tonight, I want you to be fully there. I don't want you to be thinking about what happened today, what might happen tomorrow, but do your best to keep yourself thinking about the meal. Try and think and just be aware of how long you can actually stay in the moment. I do this frequently. I live in Notting Hill in West London. So just my front garden is Kensington Gardens. So I walk around Kensington Gardens frequently. I'll walk around it tonight now. Hardly, a bit late now. And I frequently say to myself, how long can I walk around here and not think of anything else? How can I stay in the moment? And one of the easiest ways to build presence, to be able to focus on what's happening now. If you're trading a 5-minute chart and you have lots and lots of rules, I'm quite sure, in place for where you're going to trail your stop. So let's say that you do something naive and you put on a 21-bar moving average. And your rule is that if you're short, that as long as the market stays below that 21-bar moving average, I'm going to stay short. Now, that's what you tell yourself, but it's so easy to lose the moment and do something silly. And the only way to actually sidestep fear, as Tom said 3 or 4 hours ago, is to be in this moment. And the first way to build presence is to practice being present when your self-esteem is not being threatened. And that little bar going up and down can certainly threaten your ego. And your ego's scared of death because if you're wrong, it gets hammered. There are many, many ways to build presence. And I would recommend, in fact, at my very first meeting of Tom, I recommended a book. And interestingly enough, the book is authored by a gentleman that I met here at the University of London. I was, in fact, this was a long time ago, and I was researching the works of W.D. Gann at the British Museum, not around the corner. And it was a journey that Gann himself made at the time. And I came to the University of London for lunch at the coffee shop. And I like being around a university area because it makes me feel young, all the students around and whatever. I saw a little notice in the notice board that there was a lunchtime seminar, and the lunchtime seminar was run by a German fellow called Eckhart Tolle, and nobody had heard of him at the time, and he was charging £1 for the seminar, and the pound was going to charity. So I went along to the seminar, and I listened to Eckhart Tolle talk about building presence. So I could recommend, Paulo, that you nip to Waterstones or your local bookshop and buy yourself a copy of Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's 9 or 10 pounds, a little small book. There's another book called Practicing the Power of Now, which is much more difficult to read, but this is quite easy to read, and that will show you many ways of doing and building the presence required to keep your mind focused on a simple set of rules. And those of you that have been around the game will know that it's incredibly difficult to follow a simple set of rules. There's some really good reasons for that. And I've been in discussions with a professor of psychology, again, at the University of Cape Town. And I went to South Africa for 6 months to play rugby. And I stayed 35 years. There's always one cynic who keeps saying, did they play extra time? Okay, so I'll get that out of the way. Now, this guy's got a theory. We've got two brains. I'm sure you've all heard of the reptile brain and the front lobe brain. Well, I want you to think now, folks, that you're a summer's afternoon and the barbecue's going and kids are having fun playing football, right? And you're standing there. A ball comes out of nowhere. Football comes out of nowhere. What do? Duck. Yeah? Without thinking about it. A similar situation, but standing there Sunday afternoon and somebody throws a ball at you very slowly. What do? You catch it. Okay. So if somebody chucks a ball at you really, 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 really fast, believe it or not, and according to this professor of psychology at UCT, there's a part of your brain that actually reacts, and it reacts up to half a second faster than your normal brain. This reptile brain, and its job is to keep you out of trouble. And frequently that happens in our trading as well, where have you ever done something dumb that you've sworn you'll never do again? Okay. And that's because that reptile brain is in fact trying to keep you away from danger. Not the lion about to hit you, but in fact emotional danger. And another example is that you're driving along a road and a dog comes out. Do you swerve? Yeah, you probably do. And you've said to yourself 1,000 times that I'll never swerve again. I'm going to drive straight. But in the moment, that reptile brain. So there's a part of you, if you're not present, folks, there's a part of you that's designed by the Almighty, or whoever you believe in, to keep you safe and well, away from physical danger, away from emotional danger. And if you're not present, you'll find that you keep doing really, really, really dumb things. So when you're sitting in your trading desk, it's really, really important that you're totally and utterly there. Not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, totally in that moment. And there are techniques that you can employ. I'm going to talk about some of them on Sunday afternoon, but I think that that $10 on Eckhart Tolle's little book, and he's got lots and lots of videos on YouTube as well, but the videos, in fact, don't match what he teaches in his book. It's $10. I think you'll find that it will give you a good return on that. So I think it's going to be a great weekend. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. I'll be sitting up there all day tomorrow. If I can help anybody in any way, it'll be the greatest of pleasure to do so. And then I'll give it my best shot on Sunday afternoon with some very simple, but in my opinion, very powerful techniques that will make you consistent money. And then I'll do my best to try and show you how to manage those positions. And managing the positions is the most difficult bit because much of the stuff that we've been told simply doesn't work, and it takes a great deal of strength to make money quickly. But if you get it right and you practice it, then money will run at you relatively quickly. Any question? Oh, I need a volunteer. Need a volunteer for Sunday. This is for Sunday afternoon. I need one volunteer. I'm not going to make a fool out of anybody. Lady, let me see. What's your name?
Belinda.
Pardon?
Belinda.
Belinda.
Yes.
How are you? Are you doing well?
Yeah, very well.
That's great. That's great. Sorry about my rather chauvinistic remark a little while ago. Here's your job for Sunday whenever I finish on Sunday. I want you to shout, stand up, because I'll forget. Stand up and say, if you're so bloody good at this, why are you still doing sodding seminars? Will you remember to ask that? Okay. Because you're all thinking that anyway. Okay. So I'll do my best to answer that on Sunday afternoon. And it's to do with being present, okay? Tom, I think that I've done, those are the three positions I have running. I'm going to, I let the gold and oil run until about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and I'm already out of the S&P 500.
I want to tell them a funny story, and I want you to stay here while I tell them the funny story. About an hour ago, I walked up there and said, "Hey, Dave, do you want to go on a talk in 15 minutes?" Oh no, I only maybe 10, maybe 10. We're coming up to the hour now. Well done.
Let me tell you a funny story, because when we were working together, it took him about 3 years to work out that he should go on first, because I went on too long. So it's a great honor to be here, folks. Have a great day tomorrow. Pleasure, no?